no co-insurance, and no deductibles. If you're interested in a quote, give us a call or text 502-386-1128 and provide us your zip code and the ages and gender of those to include. Call or text us at 502-386-1128. That's 502-386-1128.
Atlanta Braves play here. WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DM Mariana. Powered by Pepsi. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Lights, camera, action.
It's the Coach James Hale Show.
Do you know who I am?
Live and local inside the J. Michaels studio.
People know me.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Get faster, people, get faster. Hit me.
And hit me 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. It's absolutely hot. What is heat index for parts of the Northwest Florida today? Anywhere from 108 to 112. It's going to be terrible.
Oh, God.
From 8 o'clock to about 7 o'clock. What's it here locally? And Jeremy Pridgeon, every Thursday, Jeremy's with us. Jeremy, what did you hear? What's the day? 105 here?
Yeah,
105.
It's
Yeah.
brutal.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Take care of yourself. Stay indoors.
Drink plenty of water. Make sure you're doing that if you're outside
Check
at all.
on the pets. All those
Yeah,
things.
keep the animals inside. Make sure they got shade if they're outside. We went to the water park yesterday. Loreline Late and Julie and I went. We were there 3 hours, and the place was packed out.
I'll
Had
bet.
plenty of shade there, and the water did help. I got to admit, being in that water helped a lot more. But it's kind of dangerous right now for
It is.
animals and for humans to be out working in this kind of weather, especially if you're old like Tommy.
You gonna take that from him?
That ain't Tommy. That's Jeremy. Tommy's probably going to call in today.
Tommy's out working.
Yeah, Tommy's out in the water. He went fishing out in the Gulf. At least he's not killing anything. Jeremy, I do want to get this with you. Living in Southwest Florida is unique. It's really different down there. We were down Lee County, which is a huge county. You had right below us, you had Naples, and above us, you had Charlotte. A lot of people live down in there. Guanameas are everywhere. When you get cold weather, they freeze up and just drop down. We used to. My last year coaching was down there, and I can't remember what year it was now, but I remember walking on a little miniature Dotson. My buddy, still miss him to the day. Held him onto him. We had to put him to sleep. He was 14 and a half years old. Still, I love that dog, and I would take him walking, and there'd be Guanameas staring him down, bigger than him, and we would stop and like, let's go the other way. I mean, it's crazy what you see down Southwest Florida.
Yeah. And now they got the whole python thing going on down there. Where
there you go. That's what I was leading up to. I'm gonna hold off on the python, but in Naples, Florida, you can maybe see it on Facebook. They had over a 300-pound bear. 6 foot something, 300-pound bear, like a big Alabama defensive lineman. But anyway, he's walking, and if I can find it, I'll show it to you. He's walking, and if you ever been in Naples, Florida, the homes there, when used to back in the 90-something, I had an opportunity to go talk to Naples. To live down there, you would have to actually live probably in Lee County or out past the interstate because you couldn't afford to live where the neighbors live, where your students live. I'm talking $1 million homes or nothing out there. It's incredible. It's probably the richest per capita city in the country. It's unbelievable. Well, that bear's walking around these mansions down there. He's huge. It's a huge bear. I saw it. So you deal with stuff like that. But the number one, you just mentioned it, the number one problem we've got down in Southwest Florida, Miami, it's heading this way. It's truly heading this way. It's had a terrible impact on everything. They eat everything. These pythons, they eat deer. They raccoons, gators.
Dogs.
They eat everything. It's
small
incredible.
unattended children.
Oh, they can eat a big full-size man. This one, they just caught the biggest record, the state record in this part of the state. 18 feet long, 215 pounds, down in Southwest Florida, the biggest in history. What would you do if you're walking and you feel something bite you on the ankle?
The biggest in history. They didn't catch it in the Amazon. They caught it in Florida. that says something about that whole situation down there.
Well, if you ever gone to Everglades, and when you go from where we were at, we would always go down to Naples and then go across. Is it 75? I forgot the road you go across. At night,
The trail there.
yeah, at night you look over to the left or to your right, and you got the fence up, and you see those eyes, those red eyes. They're everywhere. There are gators everywhere down there.
So we've got a new music director and his wife that have joined us at the church from South Carolina, and they were talking about some of this, and she had the best line. She said, I think Florida is, the United States, Australia.
Well, she's pretty, that's pretty good. That's kind of correct.
The Amazon of the lower 48.
All the lizards I've seen, the gators.
Oh my God, it's crazy. And now Lake Wales was kind of 45 miles south of Orlando, down 27. I worked there for 8 years. Great people, small little town. Sports, Polk County football is second to none. They're unbelievable how good they are. All the teams down there. But they had gators everywhere. Lake Wales Lake, you would walk, and you look over to your left. I'm talking 10 feet away from you. Well, 10 yards, not 10 feet. I didn't get that close. They're out sunning. Yeah. They're not running back in the water. They're not going to leave. Like some places, they're scared. They're not going anywhere. And it's up to you. Do I keep walking? Do I turn back and go around? Well, here we go. It's one lady, great lady. She's walking her dog. And I forgot what kind of dog it was. She's walking it, and it was a pretty good distance. You would not believe, I didn't see it with my own eyes, but I was told the story, that you couldn't believe how fast they are on land. Yeah. On land. That gator had that dog in a split second, took it back in the water, ate it up right in front of her, and she freaked out. You couldn't do anything. She didn't have enough time to reach down even to pick up her dog. It wasn't a big dog. Didn't have time to even reach down and pick it up. The gator had gotten so quick. She saw it coming, but she froze up, couldn't do anything.
Similar story out of Tallahassee this week. Guy was talking about being out in one of their trails and had his dog out, 40-pound dog. Said it was like all of a sudden the water exploded, and the gator had the dog and was gone. And
wow!
They brought the trappers
Tallahassee?
in. Yeah, Tallahassee.
Yeah. So you think and really we were down Lake Wales. There was one lake we used to go fishing at. My father and I would go. Never ever saw anybody put their foot in that water. And I forgot the name of the lake. I should know it. For other people that Phil Cobb came up here with us from Polk County, he would know it. But anyway, my father, man, I don't see anybody out in the water. I said, yeah, they say you don't go in the water here. So we get in a little boat and we go out fishing. All of a sudden, you can hear those gators. They come up around the boat. They're not scared of it. I guess people may throw fish to them or whatever. He goes, now I understand why nobody would ever swim this lake. Yeah. I mean, this is one bad.
I'm hearing the theme from Jaws in my head. No. I'm not going to get any sleep tonight.
You would not believe how big they are, how quick they are, and how deadly they are. Yeah. So you got to be, I don't care where you're at in Florida. If you got a little kid and you need to be very careful about any fresh water.
Because now that they're out sunning, they're out of the water, so they can get to you.
Well, Jeremy, you've heard the one, they've had them in Alabama, those little creeks and stuff, that they kill cattle. All of a sudden cattle's missing. And they've caught some of those gators in Alabama. I saw one in Mississippi. They were huge. They're like trucks.
So years ago, over in the Pensacola area, I was undergrad, I guess, but there was this story about how all of these hunting dogs were going missing. Mm-hmm. And they'd loose them there to run the deer, like many did, generation ago here, and dog would not show back up. Well, eventually they started putting these tracking collars on these dogs, and so you could kind of see where the dog was. And one of the dogs that happened to have a collar then didn't show back up, but the owner was able to ping where the collar was showing.
Yeah.
And this big old gator had made a habit of sitting on one of the trails.
Wow.
And was picking off dogs. And when they got the gator, they opened him up. Several dog collars that had stayed in that belly over the years.
That's way too creepy.
That was just lunch for him. I mean.
All right. Do you remember? Now, it's not too long ago we're talking about gators now, down in Orlando, the most expensive resort in Disney World which one's the most expensive one? Oh, golly.
I hadn't stayed there. You'd have to tell me.
Yeah, Tommy stays there all the time. I've never stayed there. I've been through the lobby, but it's the most expensive one. It costs that's where the movie stars stay when they're
Are you
there.
talking about the golf course?
No. We're just talking about the Disney Resort. Well, they have the sand. They have the little lake. The water comes up there. And the kid was in Nebraska. He was in ankle-deep water.
Oh, yeah.
A gator came up, grabbed him, took him off.
Right in front of his dad, too, right?
Gone. Yeah. So now, as you go now to any park at Disney, any resort at Disney, they have signs up. The gators, snakes, everything you think of to cover them. Stay away. So that's what I'm getting at. You know, my granddaughters, they love the water and stuff like that, and I ever hear of them going to some farm or anything, I'm always thinking, keep them away from the lakes, because you just don't know. You just don't know. And this is your
wildlife report.
Yeah, this is your live.
Your gator report takes on a whole new meaning here.
Now we haven't even got into snakes yet. I mean, the coppermouths.
Before you get any further and start getting into the stuff I know you want to get to.
Wait a minute. Let me say this.
Okay.
Grand Floridian. Thank you, Jeff Skipper.
Okay.
Jeff knows what I'm talking about.
Okay. After your show yesterday, a very nice lady called me and says she likes listening to you on her radio on her way to work. She drives north on 79 or 77, I forget. Mm-hmm. But she said, you know, she wanted to know if we could increase our power because she loses the signal. And of course, I said, well, if the coach will take a cut in salary, yes, we can. Raise our power. Well, but what I did tell her was that we simulcast on 102.1, and it covers Mariana, Chipley, and Bonifay. So she was like, okay, let me try it. And bam, she said, hey, this is great. Now she can listen her whole trip. She was a very nice lady, big fan of yours. And she's going to start listening on 102.1.
I hear a road show
if you're nothing.
Go see his folks in Jackson County, Washington County, Holmes County.
Yeah. Well, should we tell them the deal we're working on? Jeremy and Tom, they might be a new show. There might be a new show. We probably keep doing this one. We might be doing something else. Jeremy and Tom and I are talking about. Jason wants to get involved in it, and we might have breaking news on that later on. We're not sure yet what we're going to do. If I was younger, I would do it. Tommy said the same thing. Jason wants to do it. Jeremy wants to do it somewhat, but he wants so much money. It's unbelievable. His cut of the pay, I was like, wait a minute, Jeremy, come on, man.
Name and likeness.
NIL. Yeah. Your agent's hard to deal with, too. Just goes to show you all gators in Florida are nuisance. That's not.
Thank you, Glenn Manley.
Yeah, that's not a gator fan there. But anyway, where were we going? There was something. This was all going to something.
Now you're going to snakes.
Oh, snakes. But anyway, that's. I just thought that was interesting. And you know they do have a big hunting deal down there. You can go kill as many snakes. I don't know how much money you make, but we had those guys on our show before. The guys had that TV show. I'm sorry, I can't think of their name. They're in Louisiana. They hunt the gators.
Oh, swamp people.
Swamp people. They've been in here. They were great.
That's cool.
I tell you what I did to him. I told him about how I caught that gator and got my hands. He believed everything. At the end of the show, I told him, he says, I was going to tell my dad. Anyway, it was crazy.
That's a cruel joke.
Yeah, it was crazy. I loved him. He was great. I mean, he was right here in our studio. Great guy. All right, we get back. We will talk about some sports. If you want to get into some killing snakes, going down to Southwest Florida, you can kill all the pythons you want. And,
I want to say you've opened up a can of worms.
Oh, that's what I was going to get at. You know that one python they got? You know how many eggs were in it? 122 eggs. 122. So they're just taking over Southwest Florida. God. They're heading this way, folks. Get ready.
Dun, 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 dun.
J. Michael's Restaurant on Thomas Drive. Jeremy, we were there. No kidding. I walked in there about 11:10. Brian was already there. Phil Com showed up. The place was packed out by 11:20. They had a line waiting out the door. And I'm like, wow. I went up to Jay Michael and said, see what advertising does? He just laughed. He just laughed at me. I said, I'm going to have to raise up your ante here a little bit. But get out to J. Michael's Restaurant, the best seafood, the coldest beer. And I tell you another thing. I want to give a shout out to people, the politicians on Panama City Beach, whoever's in charge of building all those sports complexes down there, bringing these wonderful people in from Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, Kentucky, from everywhere. They're here. They're spending money at restaurants, stores. They even go to the movie. I saw a lot of them, Jeremy, yesterday. A lot of those guys were at the splash park, the water park, splash, whatever it's called, and they were having a great time. So I appreciate that. They bring a lot of money into Bay County. We appreciate it a lot. Buffalo Rock, we appreciate you, all the great things you've done for Bay County schools, the students here, the people that live here. We appreciate that. Let's support Buffalo Rock. When you're out getting a drink, make sure you get you a Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, something from Buffalo Rock. They do such a wonderful job.
I'm a pepper.
I'm a Dr. Pepper. And look at Jeremy, what are you drinking?
Dr. Pepper.
What, you can't hardly talk with that in your mouth there. I just want to talk about Chuck Tucker. What a wonderful local guy. Grew up here. His papa was a wonderful principal at Mosley High School. And, you know, Thursdays are Mosley Day, by the way. We got to get Coach Lee in here pretty soon. But we love all the people at Mosley High School. But Chuck Tucker, what a wonderful job at South Oak Title and Closing. If you're going to do any kind of closing, any kind of real estate deals, demand South Oak Title and Closing. They are number one, just like Stevenson Air Conditioning. Jason, I love you, brother. We'll be right back with Jeremy Pridgeon. Tommy Santamont's out in the Gulf, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning, guys. Is it a good morning? You dropped your coffee on the rug
First
again.
thing.
This is the third time. You're ruining good carpet that we have here.
You know what
Max.
he said? He's like, you think you have a problem with your motor skills? And I'm like, no, I'm just really, I'm tired. I haven't slept for 2 days.
But the
And
thing
then I
is, we
stopped and I
just-
thought about it, and I thought about the free throw, and I thought, I might have something going on. I got the dropsies, but
the
like
dropsies,
for
Max.
coffee.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings at 5 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby. The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Is that the sound of an ooey gooey cheesy crunchy slice of P-I-Z-Z-A? Obviously, but as good as that sounds, we think it can get even better. Oh yeah, that's the sound of a freshly opened fizz-filled Pepsi. The only thing that can take this flavor medley of crunchy dough, mouth-watering cheese, and savory sauce to the next level. How about another bite? Pepsi and pizza sound like a match made in heaven and taste even better. Pizza, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Good Thursday morning. I'm forecasting mostly sunny skies, hot weather today. The heat advisory will continue. It'll be around 97, feel like temperature 105, a northwest wind about 10-12 miles per hour. Water temperature in the Gulf is 86. Mostly clear in the low 80s tonight, showers of thunderstorms tomorrow. This weather forecast has been brought to you by KHS and Associates, your source for affordable health insurance. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
He's a 10-foot-tall, barrel-chested beast man who showers in vodka and feeds his baby shrimp scampi.
I'm kind of a big deal.
Please welcome.
Pain don't hurt.
Live and local from the J. Michaels studio, the Coach James Hale Show, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. One more history update, I would say. I'll call it history. Jeremy, do you know what happened here in Bay County? Now, this I know it's June 23rd. I do believe that. But on June 22nd, 2020, what happened here that kind of got the attention of the media? And if you were out there, it really got your attention. It was June 22nd, 2020. The little mini, you remember the little dust, well, you call it a little mini tornado, water spout that hit schooners?
Okay.
Right by, remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just wanted to bring that up. If you remembered it. Good. Okay, now we can go on.
Yeah, that was not the first event that came to mind, but yeah.
Anyway, that's I saw the pictures of that on our memory. I do remember that, man. That was kind of interesting.
We get water spouts that can come ashore here and do a little bit of damage, and so it's still a tornado.
We've been talking about animals. Now we go to the weather. Now let's jump into something we really want to talk about. All right. I want to brag on Texas A&M. You got to give some love to their athletic director. You got to give some love to their new hire. Can Florida State pull off this type of a hire? Texas A&M hires a new head baseball coach. It would have helped if I wrote his name down. If you know his name, help me.
Schwarzenegger, I believe.
I think you're absolutely right. If not, we'll go with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's right. He came to TCU. They paid him big money. He left. He comes here. In year one, he brings them to the playoffs. In 2021, A&M was last in the SEC West. Last place 1 year ago today. They were unranked starting the season of 2022. He was 2 wins away from playing in the national championship game in year one.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't say coaching doesn't matter. I know you got to have players to win. You got to have great talent. I understand that, but coaching does count. So I got to give them a lot of credit. They got to give credit to the athletic director. They pull the trigger. They bring a new guy in, and look what happened. My question to you is, we all kind of think we know who's going to be the next baseball coach, and maybe we'll know today. Maybe we'll know tomorrow. Who knows? But we all think we know who's going to be. Do you think whoever comes in at Florida State next year, I do believe this because they got talent, can they have a magical year like Texas A&M did in a coach's first year at Florida State?
It is a lot easier to do this in baseball than it is in football.
Yeah.
I think with Florida State, not only are the expectations there, but the talent's there. It's getting the talent to kind of gel and get the chemistry of a team, and that really does center around your coach who gets to set the program. That was not happening under Martin. And so this is the X factor. And look at Notre Dame. That's not a program you're thinking about in terms of baseball. But my goodness, they played a super regional against Mississippi State last year and got beat. And then they advance and go into a super regional in Knoxville and take 2 from Tennessee, the number 1 team in the nation that everybody had as a shoe-in to Omaha. That's pretty remarkable from South Bend, Indiana, when you consider the academics that are required to play there. When you consider you're dealing with a northern school, and the northern schools don't typically fare as well as the schools in the deep south. So a lot of things point to his leadership. And if I'm sitting in Tallahassee, I'm really excited at the possibilities.
Yeah, I tell you what, I hope Dave comes in. Dave does. If he does, we'll talk to him about 8:30 some more about FSU. So I'm gonna hold off a little bit there, but it just shows the importance of getting the right man at the right time at your school and what magical things can happen with a lot of hard work.
The other part about baseball as a sport, and those who have played know, there is a real sense of belief, being important. You can go into a football game, you can believe you're going to win, but if the other side's 6'5" and 300 pounds.
Oh, that first hit in the mouth, all of a sudden you start doubting it.
Right.
Yeah. What did Lou Holt said when he was a player? Coach gave the best speech he'd ever heard. He was so fired up, we're going to win. I cover on the kickoff. I'm running down fast as I can. And I got hit inside the head. The helmet went sideways. Then all of a sudden that speech he gave and all that talk all went out the window. That is reality hit, But really, though, baseball, and you made a great point. I didn't realize this. You look in the SEC, and we're going to talk a little bit about the SEC right now. I know you ACC people might hate that, but we dominate in football. And it's, we can't say just the SEC West because Georgia just won the national championship. But we dominate in that sport. Look at baseball. And we might as well go ahead and say Oklahoma is now in the SEC. They're not playing our league, but they're a member of the SEC. So the SEC is dominating the 3 big sports, and everybody say the big 3. People get mad at that, but that's just the truth. In the history of sports, especially college, that's been the big 3 major sports: football, basketball, and baseball. We dominate in 2 of them. I can't say we dominate in basketball. Florida's won a national championship. Kentucky, we all know about Kentucky. But who else has won a national championship in basketball besides Florida and Kentucky?
Arkansas.
Arkansas, that's right, Arkansas. Who else? Can y'all think of anybody? Because I'm so used to Kentucky being so dominant. Georgia's never done it, I don't believe. Alabama hadn't done it.
No.
Auburn almost did. LSU's been good before.
Historically,
We thought that Missouri would bring in a really good basketball. But anyway, what I'm getting at, we kind of dominate in everything just about. And the commissioner made that comment, we just might break off and have our own national championship. Hey, you know what? 2 of the 3 sports, who's going to beat those 2 teams? basketball to Kentucky gets back to like Kentucky. We can't really say that about basketball. But you said something earlier about college baseball. Would you share that with everybody else?
You look at the last four standing: Norman, Oklahoma; College Station, Texas; Fayetteville, Arkansas; Oxford, Mississippi. I mean, that's a pretty little tight area considering the rest of the country.
Yeah.
And you just sent the Auburn Tigers to the house. So another team right there in the western part of the Southeastern Conference.
Yeah.
That's dominance.
It's crazy. I mean, and
Stanford and Notre Dame were the only two reps that were really from the other conferences. I know the Big 12 will claim Oklahoma and Texas, when technically they're there, but they're leaving. So 6 of the 8 right here out of the conference footprint.
Well, I will say this, with Southern Cal doing what it's doing now, it seems like everybody there is on the same page. They're putting money into the program. They've gone out and got hired probably one of the better football coaches in the country. Might wind up being one of the best ever. 55 and I think it's 55-11 record. That's pretty good, whatever it was. And what he's done for the transfers, what he's doing in recruiting right now, Southern Cal is going to bring back the West Coast. I mean, they're going to win football like they used to. They're going to make that conference a lot better. If you want to compete, they're going to have to step up their game out there. But they're going to dominate the West. So I do think that's going to bring that part of the country involved, especially in football. And you see what Ohio State's doing in football in the Big Ten, that part of the country, they dominate there. And Michigan's had to step up the game. They've gotten better.
Oh, and Pete Carroll was coaching USC. There was that sort of
they were the
national
Alabama
swagger around them in the same way that you would have seen with Miami during the Jimmy Johnson era. And they've not had that since Carroll left. But, the Reggie Bush era when they're going in and playing, Notre Dame, and you've got that great classic up in South Bend. I mean,
Texas, the national championship game was Texas.
Destroyed Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl in the year that Auburn went undefeated and kind of got boxed out of it. So, yeah.
And remember Auburn, I think, lost to Southern Cal the year before.
The previous 2 years, that hurt Auburn.
Hurt Auburn. I think Auburn would have played well.
That's the last time USC really flashed on the national stage, and there's a sense that they'll return.
Well, would you not say this? That Southern Cal era was not the greatest in college football. I mean, I thought it was. When I saw those guys play, All-American players all over the field, they were all getting drafted. They were winning Heisman trophies. They were winning national championships. They looked unbeatable till Texas got them. And then when he left, and it came to recruiting. Just think now, if all this NIL was going on back then,
oh my goodness,
they'd have still been winning like this. I mean, they would have been the most dominant program maybe of all time. And I think the only thing that's done any better than Pete Carroll has been Nick Saban in Alabama. I think what Alabama's doing is the greatest run in college football history. I know we're Bama people, but don't you? I mean, being fair and balanced, wouldn't you say that?
I think you have to. I mean, in this era, what he has done and the way he did it is probably not something that can be replicated.
Yeah.
You go back, obviously year one, he just kind of survived it, but then you go play Clemson in Atlanta. That changed the whole nature of opening weekends.
Yeah.
And he didn't want, directional tech to open. And Alabama historically had been playing, some soft opener to try to work the kinks out, and then you'd open. No, he went in Clemson, the year they were supposed to have the Thunder and Lightning, and went to Atlanta to play. And dominated, and didn't lose a single one of those neutral site season openers.
And you go back to Southern Cal, everybody said when it was going on, you said you might not ever see this again. Caution all you Bama people out there, don't think it's this is going to be the greatest run ever, because you go back before we started this run. You think about the Florida Gators, Tim Tebow, Heisman Trophy winner. They'd won 2 national championships in a row. They get ready to win 3 in a row. They beat Bama, and Bama beat them. And then all of a sudden, Florida was gone. Urban was gone. It was over for the Florida Gators. And it could happen to Alabama. And I keep telling the team, Southern Cal's coming back, but you watch Georgia. Kirby could do some special things. He might be the greatest coach that ever lived by the time he's out there. He's 46 years old. He's already beat Nick. He's already won a national championship. At 46, he's won a national championship. How old was Saban the first time he won his? It was 22 years ago.
Yeah.
So he's 70. So he was 50, 48.
Late 40s.
Late 40s.
Yeah, LSU.
But anyway, hold your thoughts right there. We get back. Let's talk a little bit more about the World Series. Let's talk about some of our great people. I want to thank all you guys. We appreciate every one of you guys that sponsor us. Without you guys, we couldn't do this. Let me put this: without you guys, I wouldn't do this. But because all these guys that do sponsor with us,
get paid for having fun.
Yeah, and I really like them. Every one of these guys that own these companies are good people. Good people. That's what I love about them. Like American Charlie, Dave does an incredible job down there at Firefly, a legendary place. Him and Mike open up a new restaurant. They go in and change up Montego Bay completely. It's gorgeous inside. It's like, the American Charlie, true American people. The food's incredible. It's incredible. It's really good. I was there Monday. Jill and I went and had lunch there Monday. They're doing really well now. If you've not had it, it's in the Edgewater Shopping Center. Go try it out. They do a great job. And Jeremy, you've had it. No, you weren't with us. Tommy and I went down there Friday. Brian was there. We had the catfish, the fried catfish. It was outstanding. You wouldn't believe how much food they give you. You're not going to be able to eat your whole plate, I'm telling you now. So if you're a worker, UPS, you're out working, any job you have, and I see you guys everywhere. And I appreciate every one of you working guys out there. You wonderful people. You make this country great. Go in there and try American Charlie's. They do a great job. First responders, you get a discount every time you walk in there. You'll love it. Another one, I do want to brag about another restaurant, El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, the best Mexican food you can get on Panama City Beach. Right across from the Navy base tonight. I'm not sure the band's there tonight, but every other Thursday they have a band there. The food's incredible. Happy hours from 4 to 7. Go try them out. I think you'll really enjoy that. Any type of injury, go see Dr. Chad Mitchell, a legendary doctor here in Bay County. He'll be in here Monday. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is your captain speaking. Thank you for flying with ESPN Northwest Florida. Please return to your seats, buckle up, and prepare for launch.
It will lay down. Base hit. Here comes Ronald. Braves win it.
The defending world champion Atlanta Braves are sponsored by Bill Burr Kia, Beltway Portable Buildings, Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, Ellis Agency Insurance, and ESPN Northwest Florida. And we apologize for any turbulence you've experienced this season with the Atlanta Braves.
Ben and Deb Collins, owners of Bay Guns and Gear, have been in business since 2010, offering new firearms and accessories with a huge selection available for your hunting needs and personal defense. Turn to Bay Guns and Gear. They have the weapon for you. Discount pricing. And if you can't find what you're looking for, they'll special order it for you. Bay Guns and Gear, across from Grease Pro at 3115 Highway 77. Visit their website, baygunsandgear.com.
At Slim Chickens, we're known for our fresh, hand-breaded tenders, perfectly fried wings, great craft sandwiches, and more. We believe in the power of a shared meal, served in a friendly atmosphere by the best team around. And we're looking for motivated members to join our team. For a chance to work in a fun, fast casual, friendly environment, text 3351 to 31063 to apply. Slim Chickens, Lynn Haven, Panama City, Pensacola, Fort Walton Beach, and coming soon to Callaway.
The Coach James Hale Show is live and local from the J. Michaels Studio.
They got something that money couldn't buy. I was noticing when you come down the stairs that you've got pretty legs.
All right, I'll tell you a story without a happy ending.
Y'all following this?
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome in. Welcome back. Welcome in. Welcome back.
Like it that you're staying hydrated.
I just cranked down Stevie's air conditioning a little bit too. I tell you, it's going to be hot today. Take care of yourself. Bill Allen texted me. I wish he would call in. I'm sure he's really pleased that Florida State pulled the trigger like Texas A&M did a year ago, and maybe magic will happen that's coming up here for FSU baseball. As a matter of fact, we're talking about FSU. I should mention about newbies. John and Charlotte. I really love them people. They're great. John still looks like he could play. He works out all the time, plays racquetball all the time. He looks better now. He looked 10 years ago. And everybody knows Charlotte's absolutely gorgeous. But they do such a great time, and they give back to the community always. I remember one time Scott and I did about 7 years ago. We were at another station, and we raised money for the fire department. And John and Charlotte raised all this money. They got the equipment they needed. They do stuff for the Humane Society. They do a lot of great things here in Bay County, so I appreciate them. So give you our opportunity. You don't know what to do one night. Go to Newbies. You haven't been there in a long time. Go there. You'll love it. They got great food there. They got great drinks, great music. It's just a place to have a great social time. Also, Newbies 2 on the Curve, you watch all the games. The Booze and Brew, that's Glenn Manley's favorite place. You get coffee in the mornings. You can get a drink in the afternoons. You do whatever you want. Great places. 3 great locations, all by John and Charlotte and Newbies. All right, what happened yesterday, Jeremy? Ole Miss, we did not have a close game. There were no close games. I mean, even Oklahoma beating Texas A&M, what was it, 5-1? I believe that was the score. And it was been 75 years since this has happened, where none of the games have been close. Well, we finally got a great game that we wanted to see. I watched Ole Miss. I texted you last night late and asked you if you were watching it. And I forgot it was Wednesday night. I apologize. I know you were busy.
No, I was up at Troy checking on our kids off at camp. They were having a great time,
okay.
so I was on the drive home. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Ole Miss had bases loaded, no outs, and you could see the excitement. They were showing the fans. The Ole Miss fans were excited. Texas A&M fans were nervous. Arkansas fans were nervous, really loud, packed out. They get a strike. One guy strikes out. They hit the ball out in left field. 2 guys run into each other. You think the ball would drop, bases loaded. Ole Miss is going to get it done. Guy catches the ball. Nobody scores. They hold him at third, and then the guy pops out. The game's over. But it was exciting. But it was a 3-2 game. Ole Miss, Arkansas. Now, my question to you: with that loss to Ole Miss, not only did they lose that game, to me, I'm thinking Oklahoma just won the national championship. They've got to rest earlier. They're not going to play today. Arkansas is having to play back-to-back. Now Ole Miss has got to play one extra ball game. I mean, those guys in that heat, it's hot out there. And how many pitchers do you have?
Yeah.
So did this really help Oklahoma that much, or does it?
Absolutely. If you're not having to throw an arm at this stage in the season, the advantage to you. What's going to be interesting, you mentioned not only the Oklahoma advantage out of this, what happens in terms of momentum for these 2 teams who have to come back
today?
3
o'clock.
Does Arkansas ride the wave, or does Ole Miss dig deep and find itself? Baseball being such a fickle game, it's going to come down to whoever is on the mound and can get established. At this point, it's just throwing strikes, keeping it in front of you, and keeping it in the ballpark.
Yeah. Well, that's a big ballpark. I didn't realize how big that was.
And the wind is not favorable out there.
Yeah.
The old Rosenblatt, it was just like, it was oriented differently, and most of the time the wind would blow out at Rosenblatt. This one, it blows in because of the way it got configured typically. So you don't get a lot of long balls.
And I'll be honest with you, I wish it was the other way. I like seeing home runs.
Right.
I just think I like seeing that.
Exactly. So I'm really curious to see who can get established today in this kind of rubber match between the 2 of them. But if you're Oklahoma, you just take the day off. You send the scouts in.
I know. Stay in the air conditioning, have some lemonade. And it's going to be hot, 3 o'clock game. And I guess Friday, I'm sure the game will be at 6 our time. I'm sure it'll be a night game for ESPN.
Oh yeah, the best of 3 will show in the evening time, because that's going to be their way to.
So look what let's just say Oklahoma. I mean, I'm sorry. Let's say Arkansas. They had to win for like 4 days in a row. They had to keep winning games to get in. They got to win it today. Then they're going to have to win at least 2 out of 3 Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday. That's hard to do.
Very hard to do. Ole Miss has blistered the postseason, and if you remember, they were one of the last teams to be considered for the field. There was Kentucky, Mississippi, Alabama in the conversation as to who should round out the SEC reps there. Get sent down to Coral Gables, go in and beat a very good Miami team to win that regional. And then
go to Hattiesburg.
Hattiesburg. Now, I think they caught a little bit of a break, almost the psychological piece. Now, you played.
I'm glad you brought that up, because us beating LSU, where we listen, we made $20 million of those two series.
Yeah.
We sold out of liquor because when LSU came, it was such a big deal. LSU being there, and you're right there, but we can't make excuses, because that used to be our biggest rivalry in football and every sport, and then they quit playing us because we were kicking their butts back in the 70s. They wouldn't play us anymore. So I get what you're saying, but we can't use that for excuse. If you're not fired up to play Ole Miss and give the best you got for Ole Miss, there's something.
Well, I think just looking across the field is a 2-run advantage for Ole Miss in that game. Jeff Bowers going, they didn't want you. You're here.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what they said. If you're any good, they'd have wanted you up there. They didn't want you. Yeah, that's exactly what they said, too.
Yeah.
Exactly
It's
what
a little
they said.
easier to get up for LSU when you don't know those kids.
Yeah.
Than to look across the field and see the guy you've been playing against your whole life in summer ball, and he's wearing an Ole Miss Rebel jersey, and you're wearing the Southern Miss jersey. So.
Let's take this phone call. We got a call. Good morning.
Hey, man, you wanted me to call?
I sure did. We're talking baseball, and I wanted the guru on the phone with me.
He wanted to check on your
guru.
Yeah, there's nobody better than you, Bill. They listen to you, they pull the trigger, and we're talking about Texas A&M. The athletic director a year ago, they fire their coach. Yeah. They bring the guy in from TCU. Last year, Texas A&M was last in the SEC West. This year, they were unranked. Right. He's 2 wins away from playing for the national championship. We were talking about, can Florida State, can they make the right hire, and can magic happen in Tallahassee like we saw in Texas A&M? So can Florida State get back with 1 year with a brand new coach is kind of what we were asking you.
I think that'd be difficult, but Florida State just they got to show a commitment to the baseball program, and not only salary for this guy from Notre Dame, which I think is a great pick, but they're going to have to be willing to pay him, willing to pay the coaches, maybe upgrade facilities and those kind of things. And I don't think you're going to get him to come unless they show a real commitment to it. I don't think money's the whole end all for him, but Texas A&M, and when you watch them, they play fundamentally sound baseball. They didn't chase pitches out of the zone. Defensively, they were on point with just about every play. So it's a well-disciplined team, and also you got a coach willing to play small ball. He has several people on that team successfully lay down bunts and utilize their speed on the bases. So, in college, you've got to be an all-around coach. You got to have every tool.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, Bill. Did you watch any of the Ole Miss Arkansas game last night?
I've watched almost every one of them.
Okay. What do you think is going to happen today at 3 o'clock? Ole Miss or Arkansas? Who do you like?
Well, everybody has an off day. I think Ole Miss is pretty strong. Obviously, Arkansas is. It's going to be. It should be another heck of a ball game that may be decided by 1 or 2 hits or 1 or 2 errors. But I think Ole Miss had a letdown. You don't win every game, but I think you'll see them come back strong. I think he knows what motivates those kids.
Yeah.
And they talked about him. You know when to praise them and you know when to crawl them, and he did some of both yesterday. But it just Oklahoma's bats were strong. So at this late in the game, it's it comes down to your available pitching and innings that you get out from. Who your selected starter you get from your selected starter. It's going to take a good pitching performance, both from the starters and from the guys coming out of the pen.
Well, Bill, let me ask you this. Jeremy and I were talking about this. If Arkansas wins today, I think Oklahoma wins the national championship because I just think it's so hard to win that many games back to back, and that heat out there. And how many pitchers does Arkansas have? Am I crazy by saying that, or would you put the odds on Oklahoma?
They've been in the hotel room for the last 2 or 3 days.
Right.
When they come back, everybody's going to be rested. They can go with their more or less their normal starting rotation. So that's a huge factor. No, surprisingly, you're exactly right about that.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
No
that
problem.
coming from you is pretty impressive.
No problem. But I'm looking forward to tonight. But I think Oklahoma's just in the catbird seat, they're going to be tough. They're going to be rested, and that's important. I mean, you go to somebody to play a series and win 2 out of 3. That's a successful series. But playing Oklahoma, you're not going to have that luxury. Really, it's just tough.
Yeah. Well, Bill, listen, we got a break coming up. I want you to do something. You just won a $25 gift certificate to American Charlie. I want you to take Donna out to have a great meal. I don't know if you've been there yet. Dave owns it. Yeah, it's great. You know how good it is. And catfish specials tomorrow. So anyway, come by and get your $25 gift certificate. It's Bill Allen. Make sure you put it on that paper. And take Donna out. Tell Donna that's our date.
Well, that's not necessary. Yeah, we went the night that they had some great local live music. You were supposed to be there, but
I was there. I left early. I had my granddaughter with us. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But,
yeah.
When Will Thompson band played out there,
right.
Clearly, but that place was packed. I mean, we got our food on time. It was great, and we certainly be going back there again.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much for calling, Bill. I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Got to go to work.
Thank you. Bill Allen. Let's talk about some of our great people. Let's talk about, we're talking about some restaurants. We got to talk about one other one. If you love barbecue, Rudy's Barbecue on Back Beach Road. Now, Ethan Boyd.
I was there last Friday night on our way to see Top Gun.
Did you see Ethan?
He was busy. He was hustling.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, I feel bad because he had made his mind up. He was in here, and I told him what a great time you had out there and everything like that. And he was going to go. If A&M played Oklahoma for the national championship, if they made the national championship, they were going to go if A&M would have been in. And now he's going to stay here and work, so I know he's probably upset about that. But go try Rudy's Barbecue. You'll love it. Jeremy and I love the turkey sandwich, but the barbecue's incredible. It's on Back Beach Road. If you're heading to Pier Park, there's a huge sign out on your left-hand side. Get over there and go try it. You'll absolutely love it. If you want to watch the baseball game there at 3 o'clock, they got TVs everywhere, but the food's incredible. 350 seats, brand new facility. You'll love it. Rudy's Barbecue on Back Beach Road. And while you're on Back Beach Road, go ahead and get your car wash. You want to look brand new? Blue Sky Express Car Wash on Back Beach Road. They bought the most expensive, best equipment money can buy, the best washing devices. The wax they have is incredible. Your car will look absolutely beautiful. Blue Sky Express Car Wash. Dr. Ward, 1 in 5 develop skin cancer. If it doesn't look right, if it doesn't feel right, don't play around. Go see Dr. Ward. He does an incredible job. And you can listen to him every Wednesday around 7:30 and appreciate him. Max Fit Sports Nutrition. You'll look better, feel better. Jason Kovaleski. He'll be with us tomorrow. We'll be right back. Jeremy Pridgeon, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Here we go, baby. Turn it up.
ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Coach James Hale Show.
Money. The root of all evil, baby. Do it. Money. Pink Floyd, baby. Look, not only does it help the beach, it helps, the tax revenue off that helps the entire county. So that's a great thing. Rudy's Barbecue. How many baseball uniforms you seen?
Weekday mornings 7 to 9. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good Thursday morning. I'm forecasting mostly sunny skies. Hot weather today. The heat advisory will continue. You'll be around 97. Feel like temperature 105. A northwest wind about 10-12 miles per hour. Water temperature in the Gulf is 86. Mostly clear in the low 80s tonight. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Hear that? That's the plumpest, juiciest hot dogs you've ever seen getting their grill on. But we both know what'll make it sound even better. Oh yeah, it's a Pepsi to go with your hot dog. Because when you're chomping on America's favorite meal, relish, mustard, and onions perfectly blending into a crescendo of flavor, there's only one thing that makes everything about that moment better. A cold, refreshing Pepsi. See what I mean? It's like music to my ears. Hot dogs. Better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi, and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Reach out, call up and just say hi. Give him a call. Phone lines are open. 850-215-6290. The Coach James Hale Show is taking your calls live and local. From the J. Michael Studio. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Go get it. I was thinking about something else. I was thinking about James Guadamar. Welcome back to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Jeremy, what's going on down at the church, man? You do such a wonderful job. We got people all over Panama City Beach heading into town on Sundays.
We had a great vacation Bible school. So many churches do that across the area this time of year with the kiddos, and we had an outstanding one at First United Methodist Church, Panama City, and thanks to all the volunteers. That just does not happen overnight. It's all hands on deck, a couple hundred kids, volunteers, all running around. We've got a great group off at camp. So we're just in the height of summer like everybody else, where the rhythms change a bit, but we're still there 8:15, 9:30, 10:45 every Sunday morning. So come and join us.
Tell you what, you'll enjoy it. He does an incredible job. He's got some great, fine people that go to that church. I know Jenna and James Guadamar live over in Bay Point. They go. The DeBoses go.
Yep.
Tommy Santamont is a saint. He's there every Sunday. Tommy's saved me so many times. I love that man. Yep. Wonderful man. I do want to get to you about the Gators, something that's happened that you don't see every day. Their new Billy, our new football coach, fires people. He fires 3 scholarship football players for the Florida Gators. Wide receiver Grantham is gone. You're out. You're fired. The safety McDaniels is gone. That defense lineman Chris Thomas gone. 3 of them. 3 of them have been removed from the Florida online roster. Instantly, this is how he did it. I didn't even know this was a rule. You're learning something here today from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. NCAA bylaw 15-5-1-7, which allows a first-year head coach to not invite a scholarship athlete back to the team. The reason these players, the receiver was doing pretty good. They bragged on him during the spring. Grantham. The bottom line is players did not buy in. They did not buy into the new coaches and the way the program direction he wanted to take the program. They didn't buy in. So evidently an attitude adjustment, an attitude problem. This is where now we all know Emory Jones transferred out. They had some defensive linemen. I forgot the guy's name. He transferred out. And Emory Jones went to Arizona State. And good luck to him there. But I'm going to ask you this. I think what can save college football, and at first I was all against it. I think now let's get rid of scholarships. You can hire players. You go recruit them. We're going to hire you to come to for the Florida Gators. You come play for the Gators. We're going to hire you. This is how much money you will make as a freshman. It needs to be across the board, across the country. Like we need to follow what the NFL is doing, okay? It's legal to do it in the NFL. They have a salary cap. First-round guys make more money. They can break it down by positions. There's a way to figure this thing out. But we're going to hire you. So when you can hire somebody, you can fire somebody. You have to document everything a kid does wrong to get rid of them. You can't. I don't want you to fire him because you did a poor job in evaluation, and you have a guy, you sign a guy, which happens all the time. Southern Mississippi did it back in the 70s. They gave a guy a scholarship, couldn't play, and you're looking at him, and they waste their money for 4 or 5 years. So what I'm getting at, we can hire him, we can fire him. If you look to go transfer, and you come the head coach, you got to tell him, you got to inform him you're going to go into portable. And that coach now has the option, if you do not pick up a scholarship, well, son, good luck to you. We're going to let you go. You won't be playing here at the Florida Gators anymore. So that might think a guy, I'm not playing the game. I'm going to go look the grass is greener somewhere else.
So is it like a right-to-work state like Florida and Kentucky where you can be fired for anything? Or do they have to have a legitimate reason?
Well, I don't care. Even if you can fire for any reason, you still have to document. You can have to document everything. If they miss a class, if they didn't go to study hall, they didn't go to the training table, they didn't go, you can have everything written down and you can make it where it's easy to fire somebody, and you know how the game is played. So I think, Jeremy, I think this would help the coaches. I think this would help college football. Guy gets a new job. He goes in there. They're changing schemes. He needs to bring more players in. The players there. But, I mean, this might not be the right thing to do. But I just see all the craziness going on in college football. I think this might help the coaches somewhat. And if they can do it somehow legally where we're across the country, or start that Power 5 conference or the Super Conference, 4 different leagues, or whatever we're going to do, whoever it's going to wind up being, those teams, this is what every player and those that play in these 4 super divisions, this is what you're going to make as a freshman. This is what you'll make as your next year, whatever. Now, I don't think you can control the NIL. I don't know if you can control that. Maybe they can put some kind of limitations on that. You got free agency with the NFL. You don't in college football. It's nothing. The players own and have all the power. If you hire them, I think you can reel it back in somewhat. I don't know legally how much. But what do you think about that?
What you describe here, if you situate high school athletics, high school football, college football, and then professional football. College football historically has been closer to high school football. You play for your
amateur
school.
Sport,
you play for your team. You play for your community.
Right.
What is happening is we're shifting the college, that's kind of sat between these two, more toward the professional ranks with the influence of money. So naturally, some of those parameters you're talking about are going to have to take shape because it's the Wild West out there right now. And even Sankey pointed out, we're not seeing NIL, we're seeing direct payments. So we're already getting some of those who are in the know watching this happen as it's shifted from the amateurism that would look more like if we go out and support a local high school here and we graduate from there and we're alums from there, now to something that is more akin to minor league football. There's no equivalent for this, in college athletics right now. We do have kind of a model if you look at minor league baseball, where we're talking about the College World Series. That's almost a different animal than what you're seeing if you look at like AA Southern League here with Pensacola or Montgomery. And so you may be on to something. Obviously, there's a lot of little details when you consider all the different states and governance and labor and those matters. But it's clearly moving away where, hey, I like the Crimson Tide, and I went there. My parents go, and that's my school.
Right.
Now you're looking like
that's my money.
Yeah.
The money is root of all evil. It's all about the money. Now you go to play for money.
Right. And
well, let me ask you this: if you hire and fire them, we saw the situation in Alabama. The great defensive back from LSU that transferred in, he drives through Laurel, Mississippi, gets arrested. That's an offense where you can be fired, drug-related, sexual-related, any kind of arrest, you can be fired. So I think it would help discipline-wise. You don't have to fire him, but you could. But let me ask you one other thing while I'm thinking about it. The NCAA, did they drop the ball? Should they have put, with the NIL stuff, some kind of limit on it, even though they didn't want to do that because it would have gone to court? But wouldn't it have been better, even if it went to court, because they spent all this money beforehand, wouldn't it have been better, though? No, this is the way it is. You're going to be able to get X amount of money to play at college sports at these schools, and to say that's the way it's going to be. Then it goes to court. Well, they could be fighting it in court, and then at least have some working on some guidelines, because now it's completely crazy. And can you pull it back in now?
It's hard to know if the NCAA is toothless or if the NCAA is just grossly incompetent on how this
all the above.
Maybe all of the above here, because it could not have been bungled any more than I think what has happened here.
Right.
And they're now in a reactive posture. And what you're pointing to is trying to stay in a proactive posture to continue to have some sense of agency around their product. And I mean, we talk about football, but this is every NCAA sport now. You've got some of the young women of the Women's College World Series who can have NIL likeness deals now and should, off of what they were able to do. The Oklahoma ladies had one of the best teams you're going to ever have. And particularly for the women and for those who are in other sports that are maybe not the football, basketball, baseball. If you've got a chance to capitalize on this, you're going to do far better with the college brand NIL than any professional opportunities that are going to open up because the money's just not there. So NCAA really kind of bungled this, and
now everybody's paying.
Now everybody's paying for it.
Well, it's like year to year, like NFL, you got contracts, kind of know you have to build it through the draft, trade. With college football, look at Southern Cal. I mean, they're going to be outstanding next year after his first year because of the transfer deal. If you couldn't have done the transfer deal, it would have taken him 3 years to build that program back. Now you can do it if you're lucky. LSU might be a lot better than people think. We just don't know. It's just crazy the way it is. I just think if we're going to have all these things, hey, let's just hire them. That way we can fire them, we get rid of them. We did a poor job evaluation. They can go, document everything they do. They're not going to class. They're not going to the training table. They're not getting treatment. If they get arrested, they get anything. They can make it where they control them a lot more. If you go look to transfer and you don't come to the coach and talk to him, you're gone. You're fired. I think we're going to see that. Something like that's got to happen. They got to control it. I don't know the answers. I'm just making this stuff as I go. Anyway, I'm just kidding. Let's talk about some of our great, great people. We got so many of them. It's incredible. Paparazzi Gourmet Deli. You love pizza. There's only one place to go. That's on Thomas Drive on beautiful Panama City Beach. John, I love him, retired police officer. They've got not only great pizza, lasagna, you name it, they got it. The deli's incredible. Go try the Paradise Cake. You will never get anything else but that. They got the Napoleon down. They got all other kind of stuff, but that Paradise Cake is incredible. Great place, Thomas Drive. If you haven't been there, get over there. You'll love it. We'll be right back. When we get back, Jeremy's got the Alabama Crimson Tide, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
I actually, from the seat behind her, almost said, what do you want her to do about it right now? Why are you yelling at this woman that you had 2 previous flights where the Wi-Fi didn't work? Do you think that this person here is responsible for that? This flight attendant was so incredibly patient. I wanted to give her a round of applause. I literally wanted to apologize to her on behalf of humanity.
Greeny, weekdays 2 to 4, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good Thursday morning. I'm forecasting mostly sunny skies. Hot weather today. The heat advisory will continue. You'll be around 97. Feel like temperature 105. A northwest wind about 10-12 miles per hour. Water temperature in the Gulf is 86. Mostly clear in the low 80s tonight. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
At Slim Chickens, we're known for our fresh, hand-breaded tenders, perfectly fried wings, great craft sandwiches, and more. We believe in the power of a shared meal, served in a friendly atmosphere by the best team around. And we're looking for motivated members to join our team. For a chance to work in a fun, fast casual, friendly environment, text 3351 to 31063 to apply. Slim Chickens, Lynn Haven, Panama City, Pensacola, Fort Walton Beach, and coming soon to Callaway.
United by sports. WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DN Mariana, powered by Pepsi. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Sykes Concrete has been in business in this area since 1947, and 3 generations later, they're still going strong. See Sykes Concrete for dirt, sand, rock, and concrete. They can handle any size job from the smallest to the largest. Sykes Concrete pays CDL truck drivers some of the highest wages in Bay County, making $50,000 to $75,000 a year, including holiday and vacation pay, plus health insurance. See Hugh Sykes at Sykes Concrete, 8030 Highway 77 on the right, just north of Southport Elementary School.
Put down your natural light. It's time for the Alabama Update. The Alabama Update, weekday mornings at 8. On the Coach James Hale Show at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Roll Tide Roll. Alabama Updates brought to you one of the finest men I know. Stevenson Air Conditioning. Jason does the... Jeremy, the first time I met the guy, He didn't know anything about ESPN or anything. He comes over to the house, and I wanted the biggest air conditioning unit you could get. I'm thinking, man, our house will cool down quicker. It'll save me money in the long run, and it's going to feel good in here. And then he explained to me about square footage and everything. He said, I can sell it to you. And he showed me how much it costs. And he showed me this is what you really did. I said, you know what? I think I should go with this one you're talking about. Because he saved me big time money. Most guys are in to make a buck. All they want to do is make every penny they can get from you. He's not like that. He's a great man. If you have, I'm begging you, and I love seeing the trucks in Bay Point because my neighbors listen to me. If you have any kind of problems with this heat, call Stevenson Air Conditioning. Call Debbie, make an appointment, and if you got an emergency, call them. They'll get there as fast as they can, and they'll solve your problems. I'm telling you right now. If you got an old one, I tell you this all the time. If it's old, you're wasting money, especially in wintertime and summertime, hot and real cold weather. That thing's running all the time to keep it warm or cool, and that it's running, it's spinning. You're spending money. Stevenson Air Conditioning, get a brand new. It's the only thing you'll ever buy that pays for itself. Stevenson Air Conditioning, number one. All right, Jeremy, what do you got for us today on the mighty Crimson Tide?
A few things as far as football goes. Crimson Tide getting real close to, talking about the season and the team and expectations. And with that, you see the All-SEC preseason team being released. 17 of the Crimson Tide players on the All-SEC preseason team. Notably 3 on the first team offense. Bryce Young, no surprise there, returning Heisman Trophy winner, SEC champion quarterback, and we expect him to continue to do great things. I think receivers make a quarterback. And when you've got Mechie and you've got Williams there, that certainly helps in terms of the stats. And who's going to step up to help him be able to have those gaudy numbers he had last year? That's the question for him. But all things considered, he should really end up at the end of the year being the first team All-SEC quarterback. I can't see anybody in the conference that would dethrone him. Jamar Gibbs, the transfer, that has come in, I believe from Tech, is listed first team, which is
he was first team all
SEC, and then Jermaine Barton is the other one that was first team all SEC preseason. On the defensive side, no surprise, Will Anderson.
Yeah, that might be the Heisman Trophy winner right there.
He could win it. Justin Ebigi on the defensive tackle, Henry Toto'o, linebacker. He gives two linebackers with Anderson and Toto'o. And then in the secondary, Eli Ricks, that was the transfer you mentioned from LSU, and Jordan Battle. So 5 on that first team. So high expectations on the Alabama defensive unit this year.
I was going to ask you, Jerry, what do you think? Can this be one of his better defensive football teams? Could this be an elite defense like Georgia had last year?
I really think that the makings are there. This team, save a couple position players that we're going to have to fill, really was kind of a year ahead of schedule playing for a national title. If you think about how they were looking at them during the course of the year, and
you're right, because you think back that the best recruiting class in the history of Alabama was 2 years ago, and they played for it last. You're right.
Yeah.
So this year and the following year should be special.
Should be really special here. Yeah. So I think there's the real potential. Obviously, as we know, it's about who stays healthy.
Yeah.
And with the playoffs, with the conference championship games, I mean, we're seeing what those extra games do when you go out, not for 11 games, not for 12 games. Now these kids are being asked to play potentially 15 ball games a year.
Right.
That's a lot of football. That's a lot of wear and tear on a body, and it will, and we've seen it catch up with them. So your durability is a factor in being able to run wire to wire. So 17 All-SEC preseason, near consensus, number 1 to win the West, number 1 to win the SEC, and of course many have Alabama winning it all with that talent. Recruiting for 2023 has not been as stellar, but no worries necessarily. We've only landed 4, and even a couple of those could potentially flip. So right now, Alabama's ranked, according to 247, number 48 nationally.
Right.
Don't panic yet. The sky's not falling. But I think the next month could be pretty big. There's a tight end that Alabama's looking at out of Oregon at Central Catholic High School, 4-star Riley Williams. He has set July 1st as his announcement date, so we could start the month off with a bang if he can commit to the Crimson Tide, come across country. He's also looking at Ohio State and Miami, so those are his 3 choices.
So Southern Cal
didn't get in the mix here in the final.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so he will head out.
Go
on the
back
West
to
Coast.
that. Let me stop you right there.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State, they're recruiting at an unbelievable level right now.
Miami.
NIL. Miami's got a big booster down there. NIL.
And-
Alabama does it.
And who has ties to Oregon out of Miami?
Yeah, Chris. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can see why
Right.
here he was
Right.
probably on the radar
I
screen.
really thought Southern Cal would be in the mix with that. So maybe these other 3 are offering big money too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Malik Benson is another one that a JUCO transfer wide receiver. We go back to the wide receivers. That's, I think, where you're going to have to watch. If you are a wide receiver and you've got talent, there is opportunity at Alabama quickly to step on the field and be a playmaker with the departures we had. And then from the commits, watching film on these 2 guys, Yanze Pierre, pass rusher, may be the best in the whole nation. And to have a big-time pass rusher that can really bust up offensive schemes is going to be great. When you have him, when you have these linebackers, I really do feel sorry for some quarterbacks who are going to get under center.
Now, who all is he looking at?
No, he's ours.
What's the name?
Yancy Pierre.
Oh,
He is committed. And then Wilkin Formby, offensive tackle.
Right.
6'7", just under 300 pounds.
All right, let me go back to him. Now, I looked at him. He's a big old boy. Did you see it on TV when he did it? The only question I have, he wasn't in that private league.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he hadn't really faced the great competition like some of these other kids have. That's the only thing I'm looking at.
Bowden years ago was asked about somebody, playing Class A ball, 2A ball, 3A ball, 6 or 7A ball. Does that make a difference? And I remember Bowden saying, it really did not. That whatever their level is. Now I get that Class A school is not going to have a bunch of 6, 7 kids running around necessarily.
Right.
Whereas 7A, you've probably got a little more to pick from. But he really said, if you've got the skills, and I think if you look at Formby here, what you see, he's got the metrics that Saban likes.
Yeah, and you can develop that.
Right.
So I don't know if he'll step in and play right away. But when you're 6'7", was he 330?
Just under 300 right
300,
now.
Okay,
But, yeah.
6'7", he's going to be 330, 340.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can palm a basketball too.
Well, I just when they showed him there, I looked at their arms, how long their arms are, the wingspan.
Mm-hmm.
That's some pretty big long arms that boy has. So he'll be able to grab. He'll be able to grab a hold of somebody. Yeah.
And then the camps are going on. These are kind of a staple of the summer in Tuscaloosa. And there's a clip circulating that shows Saban speaking to guys at the end of a session. And it's classic Saban, focused on discipline. And he was pushing them. He said, the biggest piece that they had to take into consideration at this point was learning to do self-assessment, improve on, things they need to identify in their own game that they need to work on. He said, because if you can begin to do self-assessment, then you can take coaching, you can begin to take teaching, you will seek it out, and then use it to put into practice every day. And he summed it up for them. I mean, these are near biblical principles. He said, self-discipline comes down to 2 things. Every day we wake up, and there's something we are supposed to do. He said it may be, and he quipped, he said it might be just taking out the trash at your house. Are you supposed to do it? Did you? And then he said the flip side of that is there's some things you're just not supposed to do, and can you keep yourself from doing it? As it comes down to those two things, boil it all down. Are you going to do the things you're supposed to do and not do the things you're not supposed to do? So that was his parting word to his campers up there. So take that to the bank.
Pretty good stuff right there. What day's he preaching this Sunday?
I know.
You going to have him there?
I can get him in.
All right, we want to thank Stevenson, Eric, and Deuce for the Alabama update. Jason, you guys do a great job there. Any problems, call them day or night. They'll be there for you. Don't forget about Bay Point Golf. We're going to talk about them in a minute. They sponsor the Auburn update. But Ryan Mulvey, can't wait to get him. There's a lot of stuff going on in the golfing world. He'll have all that for you tomorrow and then some. Also, don't forget about Rudy's Barbecue on Bat Beach Road. J. Michael's Restaurants, incredible place. Best seafood, coldest beers. Don't forget about Chuck Tucker, South Oak, tight on closing. And the newest, and I will say the best, Mexican restaurant around. And that's Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill. Right across the Navy base on Thomas Drive. Go check it out. So I don't know if tonight's the band going to be there. It's usually every other Thursday have entertainment there. It's good. They're really good. But hey, happy hour 4 to 7, best Mexican food. And they got a great dessert there too. It's a white cake that's really good. Go try it. I think you'll like it. If you want your vehicle to look brand new, Jeremy's truck looks gorgeous. It'll even look better if I get him to Blue Sky Express Car Wash. That place is incredible. Dr. Ward, 1 in 5 develop skin cancer. If it doesn't look right, feel right, please call him. Don't put it off. We'll be right back. 104.3 ESPN, War Eagle.
ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Dan Patrick Show.
NFL will argue for significant suspension for Deshaun Watson. A significant one feels like maybe the season. But if you're the Cleveland Browns, you had to play this out in your mind. Worst case scenario, best case scenario. Are we looking at 4 games best case, a year worst case?
It's the Dan Patrick Show. Weekday mornings from 9 till 11. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good Thursday morning. I'm forecasting mostly sunny skies. Hot weather today. The heat advisory will continue. It'll be around 97. Feel like temperature 105. A northwest wind about 10-12 miles per hour. Water temperature in the Gulf is 86. Mostly clear in the low 80s tonight. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. This weather forecast has been brought to you by KHS and Associates, your source for affordable health insurance. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Safety is important, not just for you, but also for your family. Emerald Coast AMSL specializes in women's and children's safety and self-protection. They offer a variety of products from stun guns, striking tools, pepper sprays, including GPS-enabled sprays, personal alarms, safety whistles, and more. Give the gift of self-protection and contact Michelle and Rick today, 850-358-2810, or visit their website at emeraldcoastamsel.com. Independent Damsel Pro for Damsel in Defense.
Dr. Chad Mitchell, orthopedic surgeon, specializing in sports medicine and joint replacement of the knee, shoulder, and hip. He serves our local athletes and our community. Southern Orthopedic Specialist has been the leader in orthopedic care for over 20 years. New patients are welcome. Call 850-769-KNEE to schedule an appointment. More about Dr. Mitchell and Southern Orthopedic Specialist is available on their website, southernorthopedic.com. Southern Orthopedic, getting you back in the game.
Tiger fans, join us weekday mornings at 8:15. It's the Bay Point Golf Auburn Update on the Coach James Hale Show at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
War Eagle. Hey! Think about when I say that, I usually say James Guatemala, Jenna, all these Auburn fans, Jimmy Atwell, there's a lot of Auburn Tigers in Northwest Florida. Believe me, a lot of Auburn fans down here. And I will say that stadium, you go into Auburn, Alabama, I'm going to say it right now. I don't care. I think Auburn's going to beat Penn State. I do. That's just a special place that when you go play big games at Auburn, that's a big edge.
2:30 kickoff, 100 degrees on the field.
CBS game of the week. I believe it's already been picked out, right?
If I'm an Auburn fan, I want those guys from State College to melt.
Yeah. All right, let me get into Auburn. What's going on in Auburn? I wanted to talk about one of my former players sometime during this segment, but I want to thank Bay Point Golf for all the great things you do here in Bay County. Ron Moby, I love that guy. I mean, he is a wonderful man. He is a great coach. He's a great father, and he does a great job wherever he does. I'm telling you, he runs a golf course. He can do trivia. He can run the Club 72. He's really a special person. A beautiful wife, Beth, and great family. And he'll be in here tomorrow. But we appreciate you guys sponsoring the Auburn Update. Well, Auburn offered a local cornerback, J.C. Hart, out of, you know where he plays? Auburn High School. He got an offer from Auburn. CJ. No, he's J.C. I'm sorry. I'm dyslexic. He's 6'2", Jeremy, 180 pounds. You know what he ran the 40 at Auburn in? He ran a 4.37 40. That got everybody's attention. Body looks good. Got a good-looking body. Skinny, 6'2", 180-pound skinny guy. Can run like a deer. Had a really good camp. Impressed Harsin. They are from a scholarship. With that blazing speed, well, he's unranked by 24/7. That's getting ready to change. He was offered, now this is his third offer. He goes around. Now, this is what's so great about high school coaches that take their kids to camps, okay? If you're a parent there listening now, you want your child, like Michigan Eddie, he's taking his kid at a young age all over the country at different camps to get the name out there. He's networking right now. Take your child as many camps as you can. Let them get exposed. These coaches talk to other coaches. If you send your kid to Alabama, Nick Saban's coach, or Auburn, Harsin's camp up there, and they're not good enough to play at Auburn. They're not good enough to play at Florida State or Florida. But the coaches know these other guys that coach at Division II schools and Division III schools, they talk to one another. It helps get your kids scholarship. I had Alabama coaches help me get kids to different schools a lot. So this is really a good thing to do. Well, it's worked out great for him because now he's got 3 offers from SEC schools because of what he's done at camps. He's been offered by Mississippi State. He's been offered, I think, by Missouri, Central Florida. This kid can play. Nobody knows about him. He's not even a star yet. He didn't have a 3-star, 4-star, whatever. So this guy is going to do it. I think he's going to wind up going to Auburn. He talked about Auburn, loves it. You know, it's one of his dream offers and all this kind of stuff. But anyway, you go back to Auburn, too. Look at McCreary. Roger McCreary was a low 3-star when he came to Auburn. What did he do at Auburn? Well, when he left, he was a second-round draft pick to the NFL. So these stars don't always work out. 2 stars, 5 stars, whatever. It doesn't always work out. So at Auburn does a pretty good job developing players. So this is a big pickup for Auburn. When you're 6'2", 180, and you run a 4.3 40, you can play corner, you can play safety, you can play wide receiver. You can do a lot of good things with that speed. So I'm happy for this kid from Auburn getting a scholarship to the Auburn Tigers. I think that's where he's going to wind up playing Auburn. He might not be a big 3-star, but they got a good football player right there. Good job by Coach Harsin and the Auburn Tigers. All right. I want to go back in time. Coaching at Lake Wells High School, I think it was back in, I want to say 1985. I had a kid named Harry Mose. Harry's a high school football coach in the state of Alabama. Heck, he might be retired by now. I hadn't talked to him in a while. But Harry ran track. He ran the 100. I forgot what the time, but it was really good. Bud Casey, Bud's gone now. He was the running back coach at Auburn. Saw him run track. It's like, oh my goodness. Watched film. Said, we got to have him. We got to have him. Well, long story short, Harry's recruited by all these schools. He commits to Alabama. Now, I'm not saying I helped that or hurt that. He knew I loved Alabama. I was real good friends with Bud. Anyway, he commits to Bama. Everybody in the country wants him. National Signing Day, you got all those hats out there. In the library back in that time, you had the media there. And this is Little Lake Wells High School. And all the different coaches are in there. Not head coaches, but assistant coaches. Harry comes in, and he smiles at me because he had called me about 2 days before, and he goes, Coach, I don't know. I said, well, do what you want to do. You know, do what you want to do. And why he started wavering towards Alabama, Pat Dye comes in. They fly down that little jet, it had the propellers, I don't know what you call it. They fly in there.
A prop plane.
Plane. It's a nice plane. Pat Dye gets out. Bud Casey gets out. Pat Sullivan gets out. And Auburn's defensive coordinator, I forgot his name. Well, we had to have a big vehicle to pick him up and take him to Harry's house. So the mayor, my buddy of mine, big Gator guy, and his wife, Robin Kane. Robin's van, she has Gator stuff everywhere. Inside, listen, when you get in the cars in the back, she had Gator signs. I said, oh, my God. What are you doing? He goes, just do it. I said, all right. So they let us borrow their van. We pull in. Coach Dye gets in the van. He looks around, looked at me, kind of smiled. I said, Coach, let me tell you what happened. And I told him the story, and he starts laughing. He thought it was funny. He thought it was pretty cool. He goes, you tell them. They got me pretty good. So Coach Dye's a good bud. Bud's, I know Bud forever. Bud's looking like, God dang, Jeff, what the hell are you doing? Yeah. So anyway, but everything's cool, man. And they're in a great mood. We get up to Harry's house, and Bud had told me, and I told the story before, so if you heard it before, you hear it again. Bud told me, said, Coach Dye, when he's on, there's nobody better in the country than Coach Dye when it comes to recruiting. I said, but if he's off, heck, it might hurt us. So that day, when Pat Dye walked in there and talked to Harry Moses' mother and Harry, we're all sitting there talking, he was on. After listening to him talk about coming to Auburn, what Auburn had to offer, what he could do at Auburn, I was ready to go to Auburn. So Pat Sullivan said a couple of things, but it was Pat Dye's show. He did a great job. And that's when I became friends with, I spent a lot of time that night with Pat Sullivan, and Bud was telling stories about me to Pat and everything. So anyway, I got to know them. That morning of signing, Harry walks in, and I didn't know what he was going to do. He picks up the Auburn hat, puts it on, and you should have seen the Alabama coaches. Oh, my God. They were P.O., brother. They looked over at Bud, and I'm thinking, oh, my God, this is going to be bad. So anyway, I walk down to my office, hug Harry, and everything's good, take the pictures. And I walk down to my office, and here comes the Alabama coach. What happened? Coach, what happened?
Tommy,
I said, I don't know. He just changed his mind. He wanted to go to Auburn. I said, you saw it like I did.
Okay.
And he said, well, Coach Curry's real upset. I've talked to him. He wants to talk to you. And anyway, Bud comes down there. He pulls me and said, Cave, come here. He said, you tell them you ain't got to talk to them. Come on back up in here. So you ain't got to talk. You ain't got to talk to them. I said, all right, you don't. So I said, Coach, he went that. I said, I will love Alabama. He went to Auburn. I don't know, Coach. And that was it. But it was a bad scene.
Yeah.
Who is? Oh, yeah. Okay. Tommy's interrupting my story. Tommy Santamont, how you doing, sir?
What's up?
Did you catch any fish?
He's already got 2 snapper in the boat.
We've been riding. I think we're off the coast of Cuba right now.
Are you driving? Are you the captain?
I'm just sitting here. It's rough as crap.
Now listen, you did tell me. Tell me you didn't take that bass boat out there.
How'd you know?
No, really. Have you caught anything today?
No, we ain't caught nothing. It's been so rough. We just found a spot where we're fishing, and we just hadn't caught anything.
How bad are the waves?
Do what?
How bad's the waves? Are they pretty high or just?
Probably 3 foot.
Oh, okay. Oh, you'll be all right. You didn't get sick, did you?
Yeah. Close to it.
All right. Well, we miss you, man. Jeremy's talking about we miss you in here.
Yeah, I bet you do.
We do. We got a question for you.
All right.
Now, I told Jeremy you weren't going to be here today, and Jeremy goes, well, listen, I don't miss preaching on Sunday. I said, Jeremy, you're right. You're right. I will talk to Tommy about that contract.
Yeah.
We're going to have to renegotiate that contract.
You're going to have to raise my rate, my pay.
No, really, he didn't say that. I said that story about you when you walked in here. Anyway, hey, have you heard anything? Man. You heard anything else about FSU's baseball? You heard anything at all?
No. I think I'm almost certain they'll get Link Jarrett if they want him, and which I know they want him, but I don't know. And I think if they offer him the job, I think he'll take it. But
Yeah.
I'm sure they just give him a little time, after getting knocked out of the World Series, and they give him a little time to, I guess, rest or something. I don't know.
Well, Tommy,
I'm sure something's going on right now with it.
Tommy, Bill Allen called in and said, I think what the coach is waiting on is see what the commitment is from FSU. Or it's not really the salary on him, but the assistant coaches and putting more money into baseball. I think that's probably what he's looking at.
Right.
If you're a new coach coming in, you get what you want the first year. So he's probably trying to get everything he can. But don't you think Florida State's going to make the commitment to win a national championship? I do too.
Mike Alford, the new AD, I really like him a lot, and I think he's going to do what it takes to get him, because they need to improve on their baseball facilities some, and like I say, get him some good assistant coaches so I think they're going to come through. If they want him bad enough, they'll get him.
Yeah, I think they will. Hey, listen, Tom, we got a break coming up. Thank you so much for calling in. You just won yourself a $25 gift certificate to Rudy's Barbecue on Back Beach Road.
Oh man, I can't wait. I can't wait. Well, if I get back from Cuba, I might come and get it.
All right, Jeremy said just make sure you're there for church. That's what he wants you there Sunday.
I'll be there. I'll be there.
All right, buddy. Thanks for calling, man.
All right, see y'all.
Tommy Santamont, the legendary. All right, let's talk about some of our great people. Again, Bay Point Golf. You love golf. When we get back, I'm going to finish the story up with you. Bay Point Golf, no better place to play golf, no better place to go have a great meal. Club 72, they've always got something going on Thursday night, Friday night. You don't have to wait in line all day long. Great place. Go by there and play golf there and have a wonderful meal at Club 72. Glenn Manley's playing this morning, by the way. Also, who else I hadn't talked about? Max Fit Sports Nutrition. You'll look better, feel better. Jason Kovaleski. Again, American Charlie. What a restaurant. It's incredible. We got more and more people know about it now. More and more people are going. They've got some nights they have great music there on the weekends. Not every night, but sometimes. But they do have every Friday that catfish, that fried catfish. We were there last Friday, had a wonderful time. Go check it out. You'll love it, American Charlie. We'll be right back. Jeremy Pridgeon. And we'll finish up with our Auburn Tiger story, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has the real local fishing report. This is Tim from Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle. Join me every Thursday afternoon at 5:15 during the Afternoon Underdogs and Friday mornings during the 6 a.m. hour. It's accurate, concise content from local anglers right here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby. The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Is that the sound of an ooey gooey cheesy crunchy slice of P-I-Z-Z-A? Obviously, but as good as that sounds, we think it can get even better. Oh yeah, that's the sound of a freshly opened fizz-filled Pepsi. The only thing that can take this flavor medley of crunchy dough, mouth-watering cheese, and savory sauce to the next level. How about another bite? Pepsi and pizza sound like a match made in heaven and taste even better. Pizza, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
The brand new Burger King in Weewa Hitchka is looking for managers and team members. You'll get to use your smile and personality and get paid for it. You'll be responsible for getting guests excited about their experience every day at Burger King. You'll get to work in a safe, productive environment that allows employees to thrive and advance with career opportunities. Burger King promotes from within. They offer training and development, flexible schedules, employee meal discounts, and scholarship opportunities. Burger King is an equal opportunity employer. Interested job seekers should text 007-8075 to 31063 to apply. Must be at least 16 years of age.
He doesn't always go the extra mile. But when he does, it's because he missed the exit. It's the Coach James Hale Show. Live and local inside the J. Michaels studio. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
It makes me think about Jeremy Pridgeon when he preaches on Sunday. That's pretty good stuff right there. All right, we're back. We appreciate Tommy calling in. I'm going to get back to Harry Mose. Harry Mose was a wonderful young man, is a wonderful young man. He's not young anymore, but anyway, long story short, he goes to Auburn, and his first year, you got to remember, they had Bo Jackson, Brent Fullwood. Harry was going to be the next guy. Bud Tomey said Harry was the next guy. He plays a true freshman. This was back in the mid-'80s. When you didn't see all these freshmen playing like you do now. They used to redshirt players. Remember that? You used to stay in college 4 years, so it was a different game back then. Big physical game back then. Well, his freshman year, the last game played in Legion Field, Alabama, Auburn. Curry's over there on that sideline. Harry's at Auburn. The two coaching staffs don't really care for one another. You know who scored the touchdown, the only touchdown scored the entire day? Harry Mose, the freshman from Lake Wells, Florida. And Alabama loses 10-0 in the last Iron Bowl played in Birmingham. And I went for a long time and didn't see Harry. I kind of kept up with him a little bit, but I didn't see him in person. Bud died. Harry was there. A lot of former Auburn players were in there. Bo Jackson wrote a letter, and Bud's wife, Star, read it at the funeral. Pat Dye got up and spoke, did a really good job. Pat Sullivan, and that's when it hit me what bad shape Pat Sullivan was. He only lived a couple of years after Bud, and his wife actually went up on the stage and kind of sat by him, kind of helped him a little bit because you could hardly hear what he was saying because that throat cancer he had. And he talked about Bud. So they were really close. Bud, Coach Dye loved Bud. Bud recruited this area when he was running back coach at Auburn. He coached down at Polk County. Bud was a great man, but Harry loved those coaches. He loved Coach Dye, loved Bud, and all those former running backs were in that room. It's kind of neat to see how they felt about one another and everything like that. But I was thinking about him the other day when I thought, you know what, when I do the Auburn Upstate, I'm going to talk about an Auburn player, and that's my favorite Auburn player because he played for me, is Harry Mose. And the other one growing up, and I don't know if you remember him, was Pat Sullivan. I don't know how old you were in 1970.
No, I wasn't around then.
Okay,
Yep.
You're youngin'. But Pat Sullivan, buddy, played at up in Birmingham, Wes Burnham's sugar daddy. Wes Burnham loved Pat Sullivan. Pat loved him. We had Alex Shore, that's Neil Dunn's boy, was at Arnold, and Wes took all of us in his car. This is before he had any offers. This was early in the process. He drives up to Birmingham. Wes paid for everything. We met with Pat Sullivan and the coaches up at Alabama Birmingham. They watched film on him, saw him in person, offered him a scholarship. And then once he got that first scholarship offer, people started hearing about him. Hey, this kid down in Panama City Beach just, Alabama Birmingham wants him. Well, we're looking for a tight end. Let's look. Syracuse comes in. Other schools come in. Long story short, he didn't go to Alabama Birmingham. He goes to Syracuse and did a really good job up there and played up there, played in the NFL. He was on the Cardinals team, practice player of the Cardinals team when they won the Super Bowl. But without Wes doing that, without Wes Burnham doing this, I don't know if that would ever happened. He had probably gone somewhere. But when you get that first offer, that's when the other ones start. Because most of these coaches waiting. Was anybody else offered him?
Yeah.
Who else is going after him? They don't want to be the first guy. If he doesn't work out, they get him. So I want to thank Wes for that. But I got to know Pat Sullivan. That was truly a great, good heart, good man. He wins the Heisman Trophy. He's All-American. One of the most famous players probably come out of the state of Alabama ever. To this day, everybody knows who he is. But anyway, I wanted to get that into today. Jeremy, I want to go talk to you one other thing. I know you got to leave here in a few minutes, but I do want to talk about one other thing. Georgia Bulldogs with Kirby Smart. I think he's 66-15 as a head football coach. I love Kirby. I think he's a wonderful man. The thing that stands out to me about him the most, the love he has for his dad. I always look at stuff like that. The love he has for his wife, his kids. He is a good man. Jamie was having, again, West Burnham, he had a house on the beach, something over there. They let us stay there one weekend. This was a long time ago. It's Jamie's birthday. Jeremy's down. I see him in Bay Point. He's playing golf. His dad's with him. And I said, hey, why don't you come by now? We're going to be over on the beach. And he was staying out towards 30A. I said, why don't you come by? Gave him the address. I didn't know if he'd come or not. He shows up with Beth. Him and his wife show up. And I told him it's Jamie's birthday. So we had all these people in there, a lot of kids, Jamie's birthday. And a lot of those kids are Alabama fans. Kirby Smart walks in. And he was the most famous defensive coordinator in the country. They go crazy. And those Alabama fans, they're getting pictures with him. Jamie's getting pictures with Kirby. So it was really cool. Him and his wife, they stayed there. We cooked for him. We had a great time. I probably stayed 2 or 3 hours. And then he went back. His daddy and mama were watching the kids. So you go forward, probably 4 or 5 years later, Jamie's working. And she's here in Bay County working for Channel 7. And Bay County, Bay High School had that big stud defensive end. Went to Florida State. I forgot the kid's name. Anyway, he's there. So Kirby is coming in town. Jamie says, Daddy, ask Kirby, can I interview him? That would be cool, man. Well, I said, Jamie, Nick doesn't let him do interviews. He can't. He said, well, just please ask him. So I asked him. I said, you're gonna be down for the game? He goes, yeah. I said, Jamie wants to interview you. I said, I know you can't do it because Nick. He goes, yeah. I said, I tell you what though, I'll tell her I'll do it with her. So Kirby comes down there, and here we go, Tommy Oliver. She did the interview, and she lets the other guy, the other sports anchor, ask the question. She films it. Well, Kirby didn't like that much, but he messed around with Jamie. I got to visit with him. But I'm getting into a long story, but Kirby Smart, if you love Georgia, hate Georgia, Alabama, whatever, he is a good person. He's got a good heart. He loves people. And his players love him. Yep. His players love him. So you might not like him because he's the head coach of Georgia if you're a Florida fan, but really and truly, that's a fine man. Yep. He really is.
Well, he did a great job, and Joe finally won the big one, too. I mean, you got to give him that one.
So, you got another minute?
You
got to go?
Yeah.
I'm trying to I grab him by his leg. I'm not letting him get out of here. But you got to tell everybody where you're going.
Volleyball camp at our First Methodist Church. We got a bunch of young ladies in this morning.
Is it for everybody to go?
Well, this is the last morning, wrapping it up. Debbie Funkhauser had been leading it for the week. I'm just stepping in for her today. She needed to be out, so we're going to get them ready. But a lot of the volleyball players around here come right through our gymnasium.
We got you next Wednesday or Thursday?
Vacation.
Is that 4th of July?
No, that's the following week.
You know, him and Tommy's contracts, they don't understand. They got to be here more than me.
Summertime.
What's all these
Are you out for
people
the rest
with
of the month?
vacations and stuff going on?
All right. Y'all have good. Be good, buddy. I got to make sure I get Tom in here then.
It's just not fair.
All right, let me finish up with you about this Georgia thing. Now, saying all that, Georgia this year, Jeremy's won 66 games. Not Jeremy, but Kirby's won 66 games. I think he's lost 11, maybe 15. I got to go back and check that. Well, next year, I don't think he's going to lose a game. You know what his toughest games are? Oregon week 1 with a brand new football coach that used to work for him. He knows everything about him. And I tell you this all the time, the hardest year as a head coach, any profession, is your first year.
Yeah.
They got to learn about you. You got to learn about them. So I think Georgia takes care of Oregon, which might be their toughest game on the schedule. Then after that, they've got Auburn at home. This is what the experts say that Georgia's toughest games are, and I agree with this. Oregon, then you got Auburn at home. Then you got Florida in a neutral site. Well, really, Jacksonville's not more of a Florida deal, I would think.
It hardly seems neutral.
Yeah, but okay. And then the next one they say is going to be the most difficult one is Tennessee. So you mean to tell me, even though they've lost all this great talent off that defense, the way he's recruited every single year, and they're having another great year right now, I just think you're going to hear new names, and they're going to play the same. The bodies are going to look the same. They're going to be big physical football team on defense. They're going to be able to run the ball on offense. The quarterback's a winner. I don't see anything changing. They've got Georgia going 12-0. I got Georgia going 12-0. I just can't see Auburn going into Athens beating them. I can't see Tennessee beating them, even though it's happened before. Jeremy Pruitt. No, it wasn't Jeremy. It was somebody else that beat Georgia one time. I just don't see Tennessee beating them. I don't see Oregon beating them. Florida's got a first-year brand-new coach. Billy Napier's a great coach. He's going to do great things at Florida, but I don't see Florida winning that game next year. With them losing all this talent, I still think they've got the easiest schedule in the SEC. I really do. I think it's the easiest schedule. Again, Oregon, brand new coach. Florida Gators, brand new coach. Auburn's gone through a mess. Tennessee's getting better. Georgia's going to be right back where they were at.
But there's always that little black cloud hanging around, injury.
Yeah, that's true.
Always.
Anything can happen.
Yeah,
anything can happen. But I think it could be Alabama, Georgia again, should be again playing for the SEC championship. I could see both of them. And this would fit up great for the SEC because if Georgia's 12-0, they lose to Alabama in the SEC championship game, they're both going to get in. We'll have the two teams again from the SEC, the exact same two. And I think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be Alabama and Georgia back in it with Ohio State. And I'm gonna stick with my call earlier. I'm going to keep with Clemson. But keep your eye out for Southern Cal. It won't shock me a bit if the Trojans are in the national championship playoffs the first year of that guy. The roster they put together out there is scary. All right, let's talk about some of our great people. Bay Point Golf, we talked about them a minute ago. What a great job. Can't wait to get Ryan here tomorrow. Let's talk about Buffalo Rock. The great things Beth, Chad, TJ do down there is incredible. Support Buffalo Rock. They've been supporting us for years. You just don't even know about it. Paparazzi Gourmet Deli, Max Fit Sports Nutrition, Blue Sky Express Car Wash, and Stevenson Air Conditioning, and the legendary J. Michael's Restaurant on Thomas Drive. You love barbecue. Jeremy Pridgeon loves it. You can't get him to stop eating it. He gets in there, we can't get him to leave. He loves that turkey sandwich. He loves the barbecue at Rudy's Barbecue on Back Beach Road. We'll be right back. I'm all by myself, me and Big John, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
251-6290.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Colin Cowherd.
Boom, that's it. LeBron is a brilliant passer, a Magic Johnson level passer that will get you great three looks. AD's not a three-ball shooter. Westbrook's not a shooter, period. So Kyrie solves an issue. Not all of them.
The Herd, weekdays 11 to 2 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good Thursday morning. I'm forecasting mostly sunny skies, hot weather today. The heat advisory will continue. It'll be around 97, feel like temperature 105. A northwest wind about 10-12 miles per hour. Water temperature in the Gulf is 86. Mostly clear in the low 80s tonight. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. For 104.3 and 102.1 ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Hi, I'm Tracy, your diamond girl at Tracy's Fine Jewelry. Shopping for the perfect diamond can be difficult, but that's why I've trained my staff to be helpful and to offer you a stress-free diamond experience. Pick your sparkle and use our easy layaway plan. Every woman deserves an exquisite diamond from your diamond girl at Tracy's Fine Jewelry. We don't work on commissions.
We work for smiles and I-dos.
So if you're tired of high-pressure salespeople, stop by and see us today at Tracy's Fine Jewelry.
This July 4th, come celebrate the birth of our great nation at the City of Panama City's Salute to Freedom. Gather up your friends and family and head to the Destination Panama City Visitor Center at 101 West Beach Drive for a day filled with patriotism, music, family fun, and fireworks. Festivities kick off at 2 p.m. with vendors, food trucks, DJ, kids activities, and more. The live music starts on the Bayside stage at 3 with Flip Flop Republic. At 5, Sons of Saints takes the stage while the Salute to Freedom Parade marches down Harrison Avenue. Headliner Dozzy performs at 7:30, lighting up the stage before the main event. At 9:30, the most spectacular view of the fireworks display will be right on the Love PC lawn next to beautiful St. Andrews Bay. Salute to Freedom is open to the public with limited VIP tickets available for purchase. For more information, visit the Salute to Freedom 2022 event page on Facebook.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show.
I'm not prepared. I really am not prepared at all. I hope you won't judge me on one email I sent 10 years ago.
My apartment smells of rich mahogany.
Live from the J. Michael Studio.
Not after spicy or food
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, All Alone. Remember that song? All Alone? Yeah. I don't know who sang it. Don't know the name of it. But
There's
I'm
probably
all
100 all alone.
Yeah, yeah.
Country songs alone.
Yeah. Jeremy Pridgeon is headed out to a volleyball game, closing that down for the church. What a wonderful man he is. You get an opportunity, go listen to him preach. He does a great, great job. One of the best in the South. I'm telling you that right now. Tommy Soundmouse out in the middle of the Gulf, probably lost. Fishing right now. Hopefully he's okay.
Somewhere between here and Cuba.
Yeah. Hope we'll get him back in here next week. We'll probably be searching for him later today. I bet it's hot out in that Gulf right now.
Yeah. And volleyball, that's what I was thinking when you said Jeremy was going to the volleyball.
That's indoor.
Is it indoor?
Yeah.
Thank Jesus, because this, gosh.
Well, they do have those leagues out on Panama City Beach. That we've got some good players coming out of this
Tournaments
county.
out there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But of course, you can always go jump in the water real quick. Even though the water is so dang hot, it's not going to really help you out much.
Yeah, it was like 85 or 86, I think they said degrees. That's like jumping in a hot tub of water.
Hot tub's hot. Will it make you wet? Will it make you sweat? Yes, it will. Make sure you're drinking plenty of fluids today. Take care of yourself. Stay in air conditioning. It's going to be a hot one today. We were speaking about the Georgia Bulldogs. Well, their president, Moorhead, there at the University of Georgia, he is now a voting member of the NCAA Board of Governors. There are only 9 members. Now, what did that mean? I have no idea. I don't know what that. I guess they vote on what they want to enforce, what they don't want to enforce. I don't know. But it's good for Georgia when you have your president on something that can be voted on. It's good for the SEC, but very good for the Georgia Bulldogs. Congratulations to him. Maybe he can get some things straightened out with NIL, transfer deals, and everything else going on in the crazy world of college athletics. But he is a good president. He talked about Kirby Smart, that they're going to give him a long-term raise. I cannot wait to see how much it is. I hope for him it's a $100 million a year, $10 million a year. That would be pretty nice. Most of them now, the elite coaches, Mel Tucker at Michigan State, $9.5 million a year, 10-year deal. Can you imagine $95 million? $95 million for the next 10 years. I think you can live off that in Michigan. And who did he work for? Nick Saban and Kirby Smart.
For that much.
Yeah. Another bad thing about it, you got to live in that state. Sorry about that, Michigan. But I do. I think Kirby's going to get a contract like that. And really, no matter how much somebody gets paid, Nick Saban's always for that, because in his contract, he's got to be paid. He has to be the highest paid college football coach in the country. So he can have a bad year.
How do you swing a deal like that?
Because he's Nick Saban. Well, you win 7 national championships, you can do a lot.
Yeah, but still.
That's a great deal.
I mean, then you go out and you talk to your other coach buddies and you say, "Don't you think you deserve a raise?" And then they all get a raise, and then you have to be the highest paid.
What's the greatest thing about that is not just the SEC, but in the entire country. So Lincoln Riley, whatever the final deal was with his contract, Saban's going to make more money than him. Coach Day at Ohio State's got a big raise. They're working on, I think he's already signed the contract. I don't know. I asked Jason more about that. I know it was a big-time deal there. I think it was $9.5 million also, same thing as Michigan State. Penn State coach got a big money. And that's the reason you're seeing the coaches, the players want to be paid. You got all this money. You're paying the coaches. The people that you pay to go watch the play aren't getting anything. Yeah. To me, they got everything. To me, that scholarship was everything. I didn't want anything else. I didn't know there was anything else to get. You got to go school free. You got to live in a dorm where they had air conditioning and heating. You got to eat all the food you wanted. They made the schedule for you. You had tutorings. You flew on the best jets. You stayed at the best hotels. They took you to movies. Heck, I thought I was a millionaire when I was at Southern Mississippi. It's what you come from. It's what you know. Now everybody wants the buck. They all want the money. And they might wind up.
They want the house. They want their Mercedes.
Yeah.
And then they'll take the college education for free. Yeah. That's kind of like just a little something on the side for you.
It's crazy.
For your college education for free.
It's crazy. All right, Tennessee Volunteers. I do think the coach has done a great job there. They went 7-6 in his first year at Tennessee back in 2021. They just announced who they're going to play for homecoming. Their Tennessee homecoming game for 2022 will be played on October 22nd, and they've got a powerhouse team they selected to play. Tennessee will play UT Martin on October 22nd for Tennessee's homecoming game. How much you want to bet that Tennessee wins that football game? I bet you anything. Tennessee will beat Tennessee.
Home or
homecoming game? It's a big deal.
At Tennessee.
At Tennessee, their homecoming game.
Hey, I'm not going to bet against you on that one.
All right. The other thing that they've announced, Senior Day will be played against Missouri on November 12th. Senior Day is a big deal. They bring your parents out there on the field. When Jamie's at Southern Mississippi and cheerleader, they had Senior Day there. They had the senior players, the senior cheerleaders. They give the parents, the mother of the kid, a rose. The head coach shakes your hand. At Alabama, they give you a football with his Nick's autograph on it and all that kind of stuff. They do a lot of great things for the seniors. Pretty cool. And the players always remember their last game playing college balls. But Tennessee, if you're a Tennessee fan, that will be November 12th versus Missouri. All right, I got another thing about, I don't know if you know much about this. Lane Kiffin used to coach at Tennessee. He left after 1 year to go to Southern Cal. They went crazy at Tennessee. They hated him. They went nuts. Well, he finally gets the head coaching job in the SEC. He gets the head job at Ole Miss. It's time for Ole Miss to travel to Knoxville to play Tennessee last year. It was ugly. They threw golf balls from the stands and hit him. They threw everything you can think of. They had to delay the game. I watched it on national TV. They had to stop the game to make the players instantly came out on the field because they were getting hit by everything. The Ole Miss players from the Tennessee fans. It was ugly. It was really ugly.
That is ugly. I mean, that's
poor
bad.
Sportsmanship
all the way around.
Yeah.
I mean, all the way. You know, you can't blame a guy for wanting to better himself or a change of scenery. You can't blame the guy for that.
Even if whatever reason.
Yeah.
It's not what happens to you. It's the way you respond to something. How do you respond? Somebody can slap you in the face. What are you going to do? Are you going to slap him back? You're going to walk away? What are you going to do? I'm going to shoot him. If I have my gun, I'm going to shoot him. But anyway.
Kick him in the groin.
Yeah. I'm going to slap him and run. But anyway, Tennessee. But they don't tell you this now, John. They don't tell you about this part, what happened that night in Tennessee. During and before the game. During and before the game. You know what happened that made this occur? Tennessee, alcohol beverages sold at that stadium. Okay? They made a lot of money. They sold 47,809 alcoholic beverages sold that night.
And how many people were there?
100,000. 102,000. So almost half the stadium was drinking a lot of liquor. But Tennessee
that doesn't count who's
that's just what they were drinking,
liquor.
doing it legally.
Yeah.
That's not tailgating.
Yeah,
that's not what you brought in.
Yeah,
this is what was really sold at the stadium. You know how much money Tennessee made selling alcohol that game? $548,000. Over $500,000 at one game in 3 hours. Not even 3 hours. I think they quit selling at halftime.
So what you're saying is there's money to be made in bad sportsmanship.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. I believe. Now, I think I'm right about this. I think they quit selling at halftime or the end of the third quarter because they know that people got to drive home. So 30 minutes. Let's say it's halftime. That's 30 minutes of football. Then, of course, you're there longer than 30 minutes. But still, you make over $500,000. 51 people were rejected from that football game, while the student section was completely thrown out. 18 people were arrested. Now, Alabama's getting ready to sell alcohol. Do we need to be selling alcohol in the stadiums of these hot college games or not?
Beer, maybe, and alcohol, nah.
Well, when you make almost $500,000, over $500,000, guess what? They're going to sell it.
Yeah.
They're going to sell it. How much time we got?
30 seconds.
Well, thank you guys for listening today. You got a stud coming in here at 4 o'clock. I love the boy. Big Dave. Going to have another great show. You know what? I knew he was going to be special when he was working with us. Me and all I had to do is listen to me and what's the shorty? Glenn Manley. I'm just kidding. Glenn Manley. All I had, he told me, he said, we're going to learn everything y'all do wrong and not do it, and I'll be great. I said, you'll be a superstar if you don't do what we do. He is. He's pulling it off. Big Dave. All right, we're out. 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
But I couldn't take punishment and had to settle down. Now I'm playing it real straight, and yes, I cut my hair. You might think I'm crazy, but I don't even care.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Here's what's happening.
Thanks for nominating the Afternoon Underdogs as David Hayes for Best Radio Personality in Bay County. Vote for David and ESPN Northwest Florida in the Best of Bay with the Panama City News Herald. Voting's going to run July 1st through the 18th. For more details, keep listening to ESPN Northwest Florida, and remember, for a brighter tomorrow, vote David Hayes in 2022.
Good Thursday morning. I'm forecasting mostly sunny skies, hot weather today. The heat advisory will continue. You'll be around 97, feel like temperature 105, a northwest wind about 10-12 miles.